So that's a hard no. We do not want you to picture us in our underwear when you are speaking to us. I do not know who started this rumor. They are very misinformed. And I'm sure if you Google it, you could figure out where that came from. That idea of picturing your audience in their underwear. It's creepy, right? Nobody likes a creep. It's voyeuristic. We don't want to be sitting in the audience, whether it's remote in the closet or in our office or in our kitchen or at some point, hopefully soon in real life. And think about you thinking about us in our underwear. It's distracting. And did I say creepy? I think it's worth saying again. So what do we do instead? What do you do? So you're presenting to your team, or you're having a conversation one-on-one, or you're speaking in a webinar to 500 people. It's really one way to connect us. And it is simple, and it may be a little unnerving or enticing, depending on where you are mentally. And it's this. You want to picture what our common humanity is. So what's our shared humanity? What's a way for us to just, level the playing field and look at everybody in the audience, or imagine one person, if you're speaking right to the camera, who is on your side, who supports you. And if you're speaking to a few different people, even 500 people or 5 people, and you're seeing them in front of you, we're all human beings. And we need to remind ourselves that, so that when we show up, we can breathe a little bit, we can speak with and to each other instead of at. So a lot of times when you have someone who's public speaking, I have done it myself too, and I work to catch myself on it for sure. We know the difference when we're being spoken at versus spoken with or spoken to. It's what I like to call a dialogue, which is what we're aiming for. Even with nonverbals, nonverbal cues that you can get from the audience is still a dialogue versus a monologue, where you're just speaking, and people are nodding off and not feeling engaged with you. So it's a common humanity. It's understanding what you want the audience to feel. So when they're done with listening to you or communicating with you, how do you want them to feel? Supported, relieved, entertained, inspired, and reverse engineer from there while you're preparing for your talk or your conversation, so that it can inform your content and your delivery and the words that you say and the way you show up. And it anchors you so that if you do get nervous, or if something goes awry and the tech gets wacky, which can happen, right? How many times has it happened to you? Probably in the last 9 months, even prior to COVID. And you come back, right? So you might get a little thrown, and then you have that anchor of how you want the audience to feel. And one extra little tidbit that works for me, and it might work for you too, is I picture you as a kid. I may not have seen a picture of you, chances are, as a child, but I think of you as a kid, because I feel like we are all kids inside, and there is something very loving and gentle and fun and funny about that as well. And it just makes it so that the stakes aren't as high. It makes it so that we are able to talk to each other, with each other, eye to eye, feel engaged, feel connected, and not feel so nervous. So I hope that helps. I hope that going forward, you never picture anybody in their underwear in your audience, for all of our sake. And if you have your own best practices, please share them below.